Addiction to Purpose with Riches in Recovery welcomes you to our audience. We hope that you enjoyed today's show and will join in the discussion by dropping a review or comment. It would be tremendous if you would like, rate, and share our content, or even subscribe to our channel. Please be aware that not all conversations on this show are suitable for children. Additionally, we may talk about things such as sexual abuse, domestic violence, and drug or alcohol abuse. If you feel that these things may trigger you, please do not tune in. Finally, if you are a heavy daily user of alcohol or drugs and are considering stopping, please consult a medical professional for assistance. Welcome to the conversation. Hi, welcome to another episode of Addiction to Purpose. We are happy to be with you today, and today we're going to be talking about the 12 steps. Generally, the 12 steps, regardless of the specific program you're working, are the 12 steps. So it's pretty easy to talk about them without having to go into a program. And they have really been assigned to just about any behavior or thought pattern that can be considered addictive or cyclical. So, you just kind of replace whatever word or substance that you're throwing out there, and you've got your version of the 12 steps. In 2020, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, a organization in the United States, stated that the 12-step models are utilized by approximately 65% of treatment centers nationwide. So it's a very widely used, still the most dominant kind of road to recovery that is out there. It's something that the three of us have all participated in. Though if you've watched this show before, we're definitely strong believers in whatever works for you is the best thing that you can do, right? Like
there's a lot of stuff out there.
There's a lot of stuff, and whether you find a religious path, a 10-step program, a whatever works for you, and we support it. But I also think that there is, if you've never done a 12-step program, or even if you have, maybe there's questions about it, maybe there's some mystery about it, and maybe listening to what some of our own experiences are, and some of our suggestions maybe around how we work the steps might be of assistance to you.
It's worked for us so far.
So far, that and other things.
Today it's worked so far.
Right.
So far, so good.
It's I feel like my program is 12 steps plus, right? Like I feel like there are other things that
absolutely,
that contribute to my sobriety and actually to my way of life is what I'll say now.
Oh yeah.
And my life is way different.
Yeah, for sure.
Completely different. And that's what it is. These 12 steps, have completely changed my life. I've learned how to live a much better life.
Yeah.
Through going through these steps.
Well, it really teaches you a different way of life. That's really what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, to me, I don't know how far we're going to get into it today and all that sort of stuff. But what the steps mean to me is it taught me how to love myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where I didn't know how to. And when you don't love yourself, then you don't know how to do a lot of stuff in life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in life I just don't know how to do. Didn't know how to do because I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of basic to a lot of things in life that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Well, today we're just talking about step 1, step 2. So this is the part of the steps where I certainly did not love myself.
Yeah. But you know what, though? It is a really good, it's a good groundwork to loving yourself, though.
For sure.
It really helps open you up to that, possibility right there is steps 1 and 2.
Every step plays its part. That's why you can't skip one like I did early on and did not work out.
But the cool thing is you get to come back to them. You have to come back to it like daily. Yep. And so, So step 1 and 2, there's such a great background too. Get back to it all the time and teach you a lesson every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that, we are going to do a series, right? Like this is just going to be step 1, step 2, because we certainly decided that running through 12 steps in an hour is not really possible. Well, it's possible, but not to do a thorough job with it as we'd like to do.
Yeah.
And then with that, we may have some other episodes pop up that we want to do or some guests, so it might get interrupted, but we will, by the end of the series, take you all the way through step 12. So with that introduction out of the way, we just want to introduce ourselves. And of course, we have my man here,
Rich V.
And
Abby?
And I'm Rich G. And yeah, we're Addiction to Purpose with Riches in Recovery.
And Abby.
And Abby. So, as usual, we like to kind of kick things off by talking about something that we're grateful for. So, who wants to start off?
I'll start it off. Today I'm having a rough kind of day with my disease in my arm, and so it got me reflecting that really the love that's in my life that gets me through my difficult days. This is one of those days where I'm having a rough day, and just found a little love. Coming over here, getting a big hug from the big guy and stuff, and the love in this room just boom made me feel a lot better getting through my day. So yeah, again, always talking about love, but made me feel better, helped me get through the day. There goes my higher power. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for today.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
I jumped into now my second semester of school, and I love learning. And it's back to a rigorous amount of reading and writing, but I'm happy to be at it, and learning a lot
It's
to
paying off.
continue along my road to have purpose. Right. So it's perfect.
That's paying off.
Yep.
You're learning a lot.
Yeah, I am grateful for spiritual experiences. I have been on a spiritual high lately. It's been amazing. And my two sponsees have had some spiritual experiences lately too. And it's been unreal. It's been super awesome. So I hope it keeps going. I love it. I think it's great. So.
Man, I want you to share that with me later on. I want to hear all
We can do it.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you after the.
The God shots and stuff that you
Oh
get.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you start opening up and everything like that, and you get a chance to really open up to your higher power, and all of a sudden you feel it, it's great.
Yeah.
And the steps 1 and 2, that's the base to it all. That's the base to it all. And then once your life really, you get to live with serenity and just get out of God's way and let God do the work. It's beautiful.
I was talking to my sponsor, and we were joking because I said it's like I don't have peace every moment of my life, of course, but I do have some serenity now, which is really strange for me.
Yeah.
It feels weird, like it's foreign. It's really foreign. And we were joking because I was like, where did I leave my anxiety? Like I left it somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I left it somewhere. It's not, I don't have it, And it's just a really foreign concept for me and very foreign feeling for me. It's not that I don't have anxiety ever, but like I had anxiety every minute of my life. And now, like I'm sitting here, I'm not thinking about anything, worrying about anything right now. It's very, very foreign and weird. But I love it. It's great. It's not something I ever thought would happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. The steps work, guys. Just FYI.
Yeah. All right, read off that first step.
Yeah, so step 1, we admitted we were powerless and that our lives had become unmanageable. And that's, I think that's, you hit your bottom or whatever your bottom is, right? Bottom's customized to whoever hits it. And, so something that I think is often asked of the newcomer that shows up and is looking for a solution is, what did it mean to feel powerless?
Yeah, I'll answer first.
Yeah.
All right, powerless. Man, powerless is, people describe it in way different ways, and it means different things to them. Anyway, all right, it was this feeling inside, and I'm talking powerless. A lot of times that means, when you hit rock bottom, and I knew I was powerless. When I was in Hawaii, I've told this story several times, but I was in Hawaii, my favorite place in the world, and I was not having fun. Didn't want to be there. Didn't enjoy anything I was doing. All I could do was think about getting my next drink. All I wanted to do was feed that death that was growing inside me. I mean, I felt like I was dying inside, and there was no part of me that I could do other than drinking alcohol that would bring me pleasure. And so there was a death inside of me. It just felt like my soul, my happiness, my love that was inside of me was dead. And that's when I really knew I was out of control. is when I just didn't have any love to give anymore. When that was gone, when I just could not give any love anymore, because I mean, I'm all about love, and just couldn't get it out anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, it was gone.
It's empty.
Yeah.
I relate with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you said that we were talking a little bit before the show, and Abby's like, "That's dark."
Yeah. It's I always describe it as I felt like I was drowning, like I was like the water was all the way up, like my eyeballs were the only thing out of the water, like I couldn't breathe, and I mean, even like see, it even makes me like kind of weird right now, but I just felt like I couldn't get out of where I was. I didn't know how to get out. I didn't even know how I got in there, and I didn't see any options on how to get out. I don't know. I felt super trapped, and I was working from home at the time because it was during COVID, and I would sit at work and at my desk. It was like right over here, and I just was like tearing my hair out, not literally, but like almost. And there was nothing around me, but I felt like I was like in a cage. And so I'd like get up and walk around outside like I was, high on something, because I was just like, I couldn't handle being anywhere at any time with anything. I felt like I couldn't handle my own skin. I couldn't handle anyone talking to me or touching. Like, it was like, I just could not handle being alive. It was just like, it was so uncomfortable for me. And I just couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And numerous times I just cried out, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it. I don't know what to do, and I need help, and to God. And somehow it worked out, and I can't really even tell you what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but like, I can't tell you what the key things were that clicked in place to happen. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, it was, I just, same thing. I felt empty. I felt like there was nothing left of me there. I was like a shell of my person, and the only thing left was like this prickly outer shell, that didn't want anyone to touch it or do anything. Like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't give me anything, any love or anything. I will literally just sting you like a bee or what. I don't know. It's a weird, way to describe it. But yeah, I just was like not good. It was not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, first off, like when you first started to talk, I think just because of how close we are today, like I had this immediate like tightness come over my chest and anxiety, you know, like there was this visceral reaction for me.
Same.
That was kind of interesting. If I were to talk about this, I think for me it was, both the physical and the mental. I don't know, like torture is like nearly the right word, right? Like, that the drink or the substance that you're going to reach for is hurting you, right? Like, it's hurting you. It's killing you. That it's robbing you of your life. But your body is aching to the core because it needs it.
Yeah.
And your mind is telling you that the only thing that's going to give you relief from your thoughts and is going to make your body feel better is that substance. And so you've hit this point where you're using it, but it's not like it's beyond your will, right? It's gone beyond that, right? Like you're not using it within your will. You're using it because you have to. And you believe that, right? You've come to, and your worst enemy, right? Yeah. Best friend, worst enemy, right? You've come to believe that if you don't use that substance, that you can't make a phone call, that you can't go to sleep, that you can't eat, that you can't feel love, that you can't do anything.
Right? I couldn't write because my hands were shit.
I couldn't eat unless I drank first because my stomach would be upset. I couldn't. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you were there the last time I checked into rehab. I couldn't sign a damn thing.
No, horrible too.
I couldn't drink
unless
I drank first.
I just have fun with it.
It was,
But yeah, I mean, that remembering that powerlessness, that level of powerlessness, not just in the fact that I couldn't make the decision not to drink, right? like my body and my mind wouldn't let me do it because I needed it so bad. That was my powerlessness. That was, I hate to think about it.
I know.
You know, and I was so tired of lying. I was so tired of lying to people, making excuses for or why my eyes were red, or why am I late today, and why I didn't get this work done, or why this wasn't done, and one lie after another, pile on top of another, and I just didn't have another one left in me.
Sure.
Too, I just didn't have another lie left in me. Everything was piled up and everything was just about to tumble down. I just couldn't do it anymore.
House of cards.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I just, whatever you want to call it, it's just all gonna fall down, and I couldn't do it anymore. It just, the stress and the death just gone.
Well, and then how many times can you be sick? For me, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then they start to get suspicious about how sick you are, how often,
I still actually made it to work. I never called out sick because I was hungover.
No, I did.
I just came in so hungover. Well, at the end, I came in drunk. So, that just got me through the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of like a little bit further along when you maybe started to realize the lack of control, was it difficult to, kind of a two-part question, right? Was it difficult to admit you were powerless to yourself? And was it difficult to admit that to other people?
It was easy to, well, not easy, but I mean, it was easy to difficult. It was easy to admit it to others, and it was easy to admit. Well, I mean, it wasn't easy, but I could tell others easier than I could tell myself completely. I mean, telling others and telling myself, it wasn't that bad because I was a wreck, like I was saying, so I could tell myself, I could tell others, so forth. I was ready just to do that. I just needed to get it out and all that stuff, get it out open. I want to go to rehab and I want to do all that stuff, but to actually admit it to myself all the way, completely, that took a while. That to completely give in, that took a while. It was very difficult.
I think I kind of felt the same thing. Like, and I think, I mean, I've told you this before, right? Like, the salesman in me would come out, right? So to other people, I could sell them what they wanted to hear, right?
Yeah.
And if you wanted to hear that I was powerless, I could sell that to you. And to a large extent, I could sell that to myself, right?
Yeah.
And so I could even get to the place where I believed that I thought that I was powerless, right? And I could coast on that for a while. And so I thought it was difficult, but I was in such a point of desperation that I did it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's a weird question for me because I think I genuinely believed at the beginning that I was piggybacking on your addiction, and I didn't necessarily have my own addiction because I would just shot for shot with you. You and I always went to the bar together. Then I was like, oh, I'm caught in your addiction, and I'm the victim.
Yeah.
And then, because then when you went to rehab, I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So I'm good, in my head. So then you came out of rehab and I went to meetings with you to support you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was weird because I don't think, and then I relapsed 2 major times, and I think it just took me those times to really realize that it wasn't you, it was me. I had my own addiction, you know what I mean? Like real addiction, not like, I was like, oh yeah, I might be addicted, maybe a little, like I have, alcoholic light,
Right.
but like, you know what I mean? But I think it took me a long time to admit to myself that I really was, because I was still holding on to the like, oh maybe, every now, at the very beginning I was absolutely holding on to like, well maybe we can just drink every now and then, because we had all the wine still and we had all this other stuff. We're like, oh, we'll just drink every now and then and it'll be no big deal,
And that wine that I told you
Shut
to
up.
get rid of. I said, no, it's okay. You know, there's a lot of money in that wine. I won't touch it. No.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we didn't really, but and at the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sober, but I'm really supporting my husband, you know. So I don't know. It was all the farce at the beginning. So I don't know. I guess it was like the whole play of me pretending I didn't really have that bad of an addiction. So it wasn't really. It was all fake anyway.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really admitting anything. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I got a sponsor, yay for me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that kind of leads into the next question that I had written down, which you guys, when we were going over the questions before we started, both of you guys kind of laughed as soon as I asked it. But, you know, how about 3 months in to the first time that you tried to get sober, were you still admitting that you were powerless? And yeah, like, no, like I had taken back over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as I started to feel better and the haze in my head had begun to clear and I was back at work and I was feeling in control again. And no, like now I'm fine, right? Now I don't, you know, I'm back in control, right? And so all of a sudden I wasn't feeling that powerless over it, and I was rewarded again and again and again with a relapse until I finally came to terms and really felt like it was like really got to feel what it was to come to terms with powerlessness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
No, at 3 months, at that point, I really knew that I was not in control. I really knew I wasn't in control. But I didn't care that I wasn't in control. I made it sober. I think I made it 3 months, or even or close to it. And you know, I knew I wasn't in control, and um, I still wasn't sure if I wanted to. You know, things got to me. You know, when I started drinking because work was really horrible. You know, and Christmas Eve, and it was just awful, and blah blah blah. And I got called in on New Year's Day of all things. I had New Year's Day off, and I had to come in and run the restaurant because a manager called out sick on New Year's Day. Are you kidding me? I got to drink for that. No, there's got to be a rule saying you're allowed to drink for that. There's no way. And I knew I wasn't in control, but man, there's certain times where you gotta be allowed to drink, I'll just start my, to myself, I'll start my sobriety date here, but everyone else will still think it's back there.
That's what,
but I'll
it's the same thing.
keep the sobriety date, but no one else will know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took me, 10 months. I was back in rehab, and that's when I really knew that. I knew at that point that I really wasn't in control. I mean, I knew I wasn't in control, but I just couldn't give it up. I'd drink for, a couple days and I'd stop for a long time, and I'd drink for a couple days and stop. But it just, the little things kept bothering me.
Yeah.
And they, yeah. And then I finally decided to let God take over, and then started working a lot better.
By the time I went back into treatment the second time, I had been at war for long enough to know that I had lost, right? Like there was no doubt in my mind, right, that I was full on powerless, but it took a lot of pain and damage and shame and guilt, and it took a lot of work to get there.
You fought.
And,
I know, I was there.
And, yes, you were. And, I do want to say, like, out loud that relapse doesn't have to be part of anybody's story, but, it is sometimes. And it was part of mine. And it was hard fought, but I came out of the other side, and I have a good friend. You'll hear, God willing, I'll be sober, such and such. But I have a good friend that says, God's willing, it's me. You know, if I'm willing, I'll be sober tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I like that. You know? And so, you know, that's just it, you know, is that if I stay willing, I'll stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was finally able to surrender.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought I had it handled in 3 months. I was like, oh no, I feel great. I'm good. You know, you're good. You were sober, so I'm like, yeah. Like I said, I'm not really I'm not really an alcoholic. I'm just a little bit, so I'm good. You know, I'm sober. It was totally easy to quit because now you're quit. So you know, I'm just again piggybacking on you, so I'm fine. You know, and then we went out to dinner and we got a bottle of wine for our anniversary, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, we'll just do that. And then I lied to everybody and said my sobriety date was this, just like you did. And I had the wine, and then I had a year, but I didn't because we had drank. And that lie led me to a relapse because I lied, and it dug into my psyche for the next, 9 months or whatever that was, or 4 months. I don't remember how long it was from that time. But it dug into my, the honesty of the program, because you have to be rigorously honest. And if you're not, it will get you.
It will.
It'll get you. And so then it led to a relapse. And I had a relapse, and then I went through and I had to do my steps all over, or let's see, not at that point. I did that, and then I had another relapse, and then I did all my steps over again. But like the second relapse, the significant part about that one was before that one, I finally realized that I was powerless, because at that point I was at work thinking about driving to the liquor store right around the corner and getting bottles on my lunch break. I hadn't done that before. Like I had thought about it at home during COVID because I was miserable, right? And you were here, and everybody was miserable. But we weren't at home during COVID at that point. We were back at work. And so I was like, oh, now I'm thinking of getting alcohol during my lunch break and drinking it at work in my car. That's not regular. That's not cool. You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not alcoholic light, And there was other things too, but that was like really one significant thing that was like, okay, and I felt the itch, I felt the allergy, I felt the craving that I could not get rid of. I felt it like an actual craving, not just a thought, but like the physical craving. I felt it.
Craving's a real thing, man.
And I was like, whoa, yeah. It was, yeah. So then I realized, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like I am for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just can't. I don't have control. Yeah. And that's when I finally admitted it, and that's when I finally jumped into the program with both feet. And that is where my recovery started for real.
And it's so awesome when you admit to yourself that you are out of control.
Yeah.
And that nothing, that you need help, and you open yourself up to God.
Oh, you've gone on a journey well beyond step one, man. No, but it's in step one. You feel it in step one, though. Well, that you just start changing. Your higher power. You just, you realize that, it's, you're lying still. Yeah, I can see that. I just relate this to like I guess I'm seeing it as more of like an internal struggle, because I had no connection to God whatsoever at step one, right? Like, step two. There was a complete sever there. Well, we're talking about step one and step two. Right. So that was leading to step two. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Lead to step two is what I'm talking about right now. Well, I mean, I think you're leaking over into step three. I am a little bit. I admit. And we haven't talked about unmanageability. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just really, all right. Just really, I love it. You're so passionate about it, right? Yeah. I love it. You love to tell the story. It's a beautiful thing. I tell lots of different stories. I'm just bringing you back in. I'm bringing you back. Love and passion. I am passionate. You ooze with love. It's a beautiful thing. Love is great. Give me that. I got you back.
So unmanageability, right? So that's where we are. Powerless and unmanageability.
Well, that's my house's mess.
Yeah, the house is a mess, right? You were hanging out there, and I was like, yes, we're talking about unmanageability. And then you were like, let's go to fix it now.
I'll stop at the unmanageability. My house is a mess.
There we go.
My house is a mess. And that's what I relate it to.
Yeah.
My house is a mess. That was the unmanageability.
Absolutely, right?
My house is a mess.
And
inside and out.
I go back to like, you're talking about, right? You're talking about the internal struggle of the house is a mess, which is so true, right? Yeah. But I think back to like, my house was a mess,
Well,
like
for
my
real.
home, right?
For real,
like,
though.
like my socks had been on for like 6 days, and they were like, they were crusty and hard, right? And like, it's just true. And my trash was overflowing and it stunk. And my sink, those dishes, I didn't know what was in there.
And our entire recycling was liquor bottles.
And man, like it was embarrassing.
When we
when
emptied it out and go.
The entire neighborhood knew that our recycling was being emptied.
Yeah,
and
it was very loud. Really loud.
We would have to put bottles in other places because the recycling was too full. And there were bottles in my car.
I would literally take the bottles and put them in and then put stuff in between them so it wouldn't crash when I did the recycling in the other can.
Like that wasn't going to happen.
So it wouldn't crash so the neighbors wouldn't hear it breaking and crashing when I poured it in there.
Right. So
I would actually do things to make it not sound as bad.
Right. We lived together, so we experienced it together. My hair's greasy, my skin's greasy. I can't go places. I still go to the liquor store like that, but I spent time thinking about these things. Yeah. We would hide in the house, and then we'd somebody'd knock on the door, or we'd get like DoorDash or whatever, and I would go into the bedroom and peek out of the blinds. Make me answer the door.
And be like, okay, they're here. Get the door. Like I'd be terrified to answer the door.
Yeah.
I was terrified to answer the door. I don't know why.
Crazy. We were crazy.
Yeah, we were nuts.
That's why, because we were crazy. And life had become unmanageable. When they called me back to work, I couldn't go to work without drinking. And when I did go to work, I would drink in the morning before I went to work, and I'd hide the bottle in my car. And then I'd have to get another bottle sometime during work, and I'd hide it in my bag. Or, drinking and driving, not just to get from point A to point B, but it was an all-day thing at that point.
Yep.
Right? And I drove a lot for my job. That is crazy. That is not a well person, and that is a completely unmanageable life. When I look back, I'm like, there was nothing about that. I had no faith in anything. I had lost any faith I had in myself. I had no faith in my wife anymore. I didn't have any friends anymore, right? Like over COVID, everybody just kind of like went their own way, and I was such a mess. I didn't want to be with anybody anymore anyway. Yeah. I wanted to sit at home by myself and drink.
Yep.
And there was nothing in life that was working anymore.
Yep.
And it was completely life. And I was so, back to powerless, I was so dependent on drink that there was nothing else that could be more important than making sure that was maintained.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we were drinking together, we would pretend that we were going to have one bottle, and then we would fight over the alcohol.
Yep.
All day. Shot for shot, and we're like, wait, are you gonna have another shot? Wait, I have to have another shot, you're gonna have another shot. I'm not joking. We would fight over the alcohol all day. And then we'd fight over who was gonna go get the next bottle.
Like 2.5 times her size. She's trying to drink with me, poor girl.
Well, yeah, I did, and then I got a .33 on my DUI.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, I guess.
The cop was like, how are you awake? I'm like, I don't know.
The judge is like, this shows tolerance.
That's what she said, verbatim. She said, this shows tolerance. I'm book them, Dano, or whatever.
Yeah, right. Like you're done. But yeah, so I did want to spend a minute on unmanageable, because powerless we spent a long time on, but unmanageable is a big part of that first step too.
I drank a 30-pack of Budweiser a day.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, I'd have 3.
And
I'd have 3 before I got in the car to bring my daughter to work. And then 3 before I got to work, and then I'd bring a bag to work with me, and I'd put 3 to 6 beers in the gym bag with clothes over the top of the beer, and stuff, and then I'd have a 6-pack in a cooler in my car. And so I got to make a phone call. I'm just going to run out to my car, slam a couple beers. Then, I had to make sure I do it at least once an hour. I had to have a couple beers, because then my hands would start shaking really bad if I didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So I'd either grab the bag that was in my office and go to the restroom and slam a couple beers there, where I could lock the door, or if no one was around, I'd lock the door in the office, slam a couple beers in the office from my bag, or go outside. But normally I would get a 12-pack of beer during work in me. It would be a 10, 12-hour shift. So that was, me cooling it on the drinking. Wouldn't be able to, that was light drinking. And so as soon as I got off, then everyone was gone out of the restaurant, it's around midnight, so then I pour myself a couple off the tap before I drive home. So make sure, I'm not shaking or anything for the drive home. I'm nice and smooth, so I'm comfortable on the ride home.
Yeah.
You're a good drunk driver.
Great, I drive much better when I'm drunk, so, okay, now I'm even now. I made it through the day. That was a long day, but I made it. All right. And then I knew earlier in the day I'd put a 30 pack in my refrigerator in the house and a 30 pack in my refrigerator in the garage. Boom. So I'd be able to drive home that way. And my daughter had already, she had eaten and, gone to bed and stuff like that. So she had taken care of herself. I'd made her food earlier in the day and she got home from school and done that. Boom. Yeah. And so that's how my days would go. I'd get up in the morning and I'd not much sleep and get her off to school, drink before I had to go to work. And that's how my days went. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
I could never fit that much beer in.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I had to do liquor, man.
Oh, yeah.
Two fifths a day. But yeah, I didn't have room for that much booze. Beer. I
Yeah.
had plenty of room for the booze.
I'll see beer. I drink beer because I can control beer.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm just drinking beer.
I see.
Yeah. 30 pack of beer, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's funny because
It's just Budweiser.
I talk a lot about COVID, but if I think back in our old house, we couldn't keep a liquor cabinet
No.
because we had it wasn't a cabinet, it was like a shelf, and we would have alcohol there. But like I would come home late from my job that I worked like swing shift or like 9:30 hypothetically, but then I would get home at 11.
Yeah.
And if we bought a bottle of something, it was half drank by him, and then I drink the other half when I got home. And say I'd have 2 shots.
Yeah. She'd take shots of 140 proof liquor or 140%, whiskey that was like barrel proof. I'm like, wow, how are you shooting that? I'm like, I don't even understand.
And then when that was gone, I was like shooting whatever the weird crap was behind that nobody ever drank. That was a mixer, like the vermouth and the like weird. Like all the
slow gin.
Yeah.
No, I love slow gin and orange juice, man. That's good. Anyway, but like, you know what I mean? We couldn't keep alcohol in the house even back then. It was like, and we've lived in this house like 7 years. So even back like that, way back, our alcohol was starting to be unmanageable, but back then, because we could not keep alcohol in the house.
Yeah, we talk about COVID, but we just realized that COVID was where we decided to hit bottom and then continuously beat our head against bottom until we decided to stop.
Yeah, it was unmanageable before that because I was like, if I really think, that's when it really started to become unmanageable. It was like, we literally couldn't keep alcohol in the house. If there wasn't alcohol in the house, I was breaking open bottles of wine from his stuff from work, or I was drinking the weird stuff at the back, that nobody wanted to drink. And then he'd wake up and be like, why is this empty? And I'd be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's any other people besides him and I in the house.
Right.
The dog drink it. No.
You wouldn't think about just like, getting like a couple handles, go to Costco and like.
We did that, and the handles would be gone in a day or a day.
If it was like normal, what you would drink normally, it would be gone real quick.
Yeah. We did handles like before COVID and during COVID. That's when we started on handles.
Yeah.
Before COVID and then during COVID. Yeah.
What a team.
Good team. We don't mess around.
Well, we didn't do handles back then because I think we genuinely didn't do handles because I don't know if we probably would have gone through the handles. I think, did we even think that didn't buy those because we thought we wouldn't?
I think we still thought that we
weren't
too good for that.
Yeah, we didn't buy handles because we were too fancy for that. We bought the good stuff.
But, so luckily we do things so full on, and right now we're doing recovery full on, which is working for us. So we've
you're putting out as much effort in your recovering as you were drinking.
Yes, we were just talking about that earlier.
Seriously though, you're going to your meetings.
Yeah.
You're sponsoring. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Being of service. Showing up for people and doing what we say we're gonna do and all of those things.
It is a common saying, if you worked as hard at your recovery as you did, when you were drinking, then you'd be okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm right there too.
Yeah. And drinking ain't alone, man. I chased cocaine real hard. I chased weed real hard. I chased all the things that I did. If I decided that I wanted to do something, I'd get after it.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We had a real big pile of cocaine at one point too.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
big
all
one.
bad. Don't incriminate us.
We don't have it now.
Yeah, right.
It
That's
was
true.
a long time ago. It was like
it
5
was-
years ago.
It was a long time ago.
It's not in the house now.
So
It's a long time ago. I'm not
yeah.
telling you where we got it. I'm not telling you where it went.
I quit that when I was 23, smoking pot and doing coke. I decided, you know what, I don't like the hangovers from this coke. It's way too much, because I would drink a ton of beer while I was doing it, of course, and the hangovers are just rugged.
They're really rough.
Rugged, and I just didn't want to do those anymore. And pot, that when I was 23, it used to be, all of you that had the experience with pot too. I'm sure all of you did. When I was 23, that's before that you got all the shake and not such good stuff. You just roll yourself a joint with your buddy, and you can, share a joint and have the munchies a little bit and enjoy yourself. Go to a party and have a joint and so forth, and just you had fun. When I was 23, that's when up north, up in Humboldt, we're in California, so up in Humboldt, they decided to come out and learn how to make the really good weed and the really stinky buds. That's when they first really started rolling those out. And so that's when I had it a couple times and realized that, boom, it wasn't fun anymore. It knocked me on my butt.
Yeah.
And so that's when I stopped doing weed. Yeah, because I couldn't control it at all. I could control my drinking, but the weed, no, it was no fun anymore.
You couldn't handle it.
No, that was the same with me. I
smoke pot. Next thing I know, I'm just watching TV.
No, that was the same.
Jeez, it's just gone down.
That was the same. I tried the real strong weed. I was like immediately paranoid.
Yeah, Abby smoked herself paranoid.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've admitted that we were powerless and our life had become unmanageable.
We talked about that. We used to drink a lot.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And how much of a mess that was making for us. And so
how messy our house was.
Yes.
Oh.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to head into step 2. So that's where we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, my first question is, was this a difficult step for you, and why?
It was a piece of cake step for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because man, I realized that, I got to go to rehab. I was blessed with being able to go to rehab. So steps 1 and step 2, pretty well taken care of. Yeah, I can't do this. I just can't do this. I tried. I tried to, only have this much amount of beer each day, or only have that, measure it out, all that sort of stuff. But I just, it was pretty easy. I just, I knew I couldn't do it myself. I tried, and I just needed. I used to go to church a lot, so I had a background in church. I'd stopped going for a personal reason I'm not going to go into, but so I had a good basis of God, of a higher power, and I realized that I ain't making it. My house is a mess, and can't do this myself, and I gotta get some help, and that's when I just said, hey, I gotta get help. I can't do it myself. And yeah, I reached out for help. I mean, it's just as easy as that. I hurt so bad. I have to get help. My first step, I realized that, man, this is horrible. It hurts so bad. I'm drinking all this. Everything's gone inside. Everything's horrible. I admitted it. This is me. This is who I am. And I can't do it. And next step, I just said, I got to feel better. I got to somehow feel better, and I can't make myself feel better. I just can't do it. And I mean, that feeling, you're churning at that point. You're churning, and that first step is, it makes you centered. Okay. I admitted it, but I'm going to, luckily I was rehab. I had tons of other people that have admitted it already, so they're helping me out admitting it, but still, you're trying to find a path. How do I get on that path? How do I find my way, along that way? How do I do it? And, you really got to give it up, and, you know, got to give it up to God. You know, got to find a higher purpose. Got to find something to give it up to. And so that's where you're at with stuff too. You know, you find a tell yourself, man, I got to get someone to hand this over to. And so that's where you're at. You just realizing I got to hand this horrible disease over to someone. I can't handle it myself. I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one
Ah,
is like a two-parter kind of for me. So came to believe a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Came to believe a power greater than myself was not an issue for me. I grew up in the church, and I wasn't the church itself. I have kind of again issues kind of with that,
yeah.
but God, I did believe in God, and I
Yeah.
didn't have an issue with God. And so AA actually brought me back to a God of my own understanding and brought me back to the church, which is interesting because that wasn't really what I had planned to do. So a power greater than myself to restore me to sanity was not the issue because I did believe in God the whole time. I just had walked away and not had a relationship with God during a whole bunch of years in the middle, since I was like 20 to like, a couple years ago, a few years ago. So that wasn't an issue for me. And once I started doing the prayers and all that, it was like kind of like riding a bike. I just jumped right back on. As far as the sanity is concerned, though, I didn't think I was insane. I didn't feel like I was. I didn't really believe that I was until I started hearing other people's stories for real. And then once I got to my fourth step and really dissected my actions and looked back at my life, then I was like, oh, there are like some of my actions were really not okay or not. They didn't make any sense. It wasn't just like I was mean. They were like not logical or like they were really like just out of control, And that sanity piece there, I didn't really believe that at first. That didn't really resonate with me at first. I was just like, okay, came to believe a power greater than myself can help me is what I really believed at the very, very beginning will help me, but not restore me to sanity because I was like, well, I don't really feel like I'm insane. So I kind of like just rolled over that last piece at the very beginning. And then once I got deeper into it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm nuts. So yeah.
I mean, I've been telling you that for years.
You know what?
Bro.
Nobody asked you, okay? Nobody asked you. But no, but for real though, it was just like, it did take me a while to really figure out that I was the problem. Well, like I said, I thought I was alcoholic,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. There's a recurring theme, as you can see.
Yeah.
Character defects, that's how we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was an interesting one for me. Yeah.
I knew I was insane. I just knew I had lost it.
Well, I think I did know, but I didn't really want to. I don't know. I think I lied to myself a lot, and I didn't. I did describe it like this. I when I talked to my sponsor, I think I gaslit myself on accident.
Huh?
I don't know why though, because I really believed a lot of things about myself, but and I don't really think I was trying to be like I was trying to believe it like I was like soothing. I think it was just self-soothing.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
some ways.
we're great liars.
Yeah.
We are amazing
And then I was
liars.
like, oh, no, I didn't, I don't know. I think I was gaslighting myself for a long time about some things.
Yeah, I mean, I was the greatest liar in the world. I was the greatest liar.
Because I believed I didn't lie to people. I believed I was really nice to everyone.
I lied to myself and I lied to
Even though I was
everyone.
downtown sometimes yelling at people on the side of the road, and the cops had to walk up to me and say, hey, is everybody okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. Why would you walk up to me? Because I was screaming at someone, that's why. Oh. No.
Someone. But screaming at someone.
I'm not crazy. What are you talking about?
Sir, go sit on the curb. All right. So
That was the other time. I'm not even talking about that time.
sanity, I think has like a few different things for me, right? Like I think in some cases, I was like, yeah, I'm crazy, right? And then in other cases, I'd be like, why wouldn't I be crazy? Like, look at all the crap that I have to put up with, right?
Yeah.
And then,
That's true.
I hate that line.
right? But yeah, like it's your problem. It's your
good
fault that
out,
I'm
though. It's a
crazy,
good out.
right? Yeah, it's your fault that I'm crazy. All this bullshit.
All our excuses.
It's one of those like, it's not my fault. It's not my problem.
Oh, I hate when I hear that.
But when we're talking about the insanity of substance use or alcoholism, that was, I had definitely recognized that, right? Like I could definitely look around my life once I, yeah, I could definitely look around my life and realize that it was insanity even before I really wanted to admit my powerlessness, right? Like I'm like, okay, this craziness has to stop, right? Um, a power greater than myself was not easy for me at the beginning. I had fallen into the individualist model, right? Like I had to be the strong one. I had to be the strong one for Abby. I had to be the strong one for my family, for the people who looked up to me, for the people who worked for me. Like I had to be that pillar of strength. And so I had come to a place with my relationship with a higher power or God that I didn't say like there is no God. I said I don't know if there is a God, and if there is a God, then whatever they're doing, they're not concerned about me or what I'm doing, you know? So how is that power gonna restore me to sanity? And I felt that way even in my first, little run. Walking into treatment the first time, um, it was more like when I was like, okay, if I've got to accept this, it's gonna be like, the whole group of drunks or whatever, whatever higher power it's going to be, the people I'm around, it's going to be, whatever acronyms there are. There's other ones I can't think of it now.
Yeah.
But that's where I had to start, and it was difficult for me to think of anything other than me that was going to squirrel my ass out of that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we kind of had this conversation after I spent 3 years of trying really hard and still making a mess out of things. The part of my problem was that I had never done 1, 2, 3. I'd never done steps 1, 2, 3 properly. I'd never really done them. And so, really, for me, it wasn't until I went back into treatment in February of 24 that, like, a couple days in, that I surrendered that I was powerless and that I was done, that I was done fighting. And then I turned it over to, I mean, some of the literature will say a God of your understanding, but I've come to terms with it. Like, I'm better off to not try to pretend to know anything about what God is or what God is thinking or anything. It's beyond me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, can't understand it. I believe in it, and I need help, and so that's what I lean on, right? And that's it.
Yeah.
Like I don't really try to go further than
It's a
that.
higher power.
But and that's it, right? So I won't go into the third step, but I did finally concede. Like, okay, power greater than me is going to restore me to sanity. Okay, let's figure this out then, And but that took me almost 3 years of solid, because March 21, I think, was when I went to treatment the first time, to February 24. So 3 years of fighting,
Yeah.
of fighting a losing battle.
Yeah.
To finally, figure out that I was not going to figure out the solution on my own, and I didn't try to do it the whole way on my own, but I still wanted my piece of the control. And I finally had to go like, nah, it's not up to me. So the next question I have, I'm going to skip one of them, but so what did it feel like when you came to truly believe that the power to restore you would not come from you?
Power to restore you would not come from you.
So when you finally said, like what I was just describing, like, okay, fine, it's not going to be me.
Oh, that I was going to get help?
Yeah.
Oh, that my higher power was going to help me?
Yeah.
Oh, here's one giant boulder here, one giant boulder here.
Relief. That's what.
Oh.
I was so relieved. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. That's cool. I'm good.
and the very start of that a pathway between here and my higher power just started opening. You know, that pathway between my soul, my heart, and my soul started opening to my higher power.
Yeah.
And that first crack of the goodness and love that was inside of me that really wanted to love me, that first crack started happening, and it was really cool. It was really cool feeling just that first warmth of love for myself. Just got a peek out there, and got that boulders off my shoulders, so I could relax.
Yeah.
Could relax for the first time in I don't know how long. I didn't have to lie anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have to lie anymore. I don't have to, and I can just relax. Felt that little twinge. It was great.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I realized that there was something good ahead.
But I do, I understand, and that is where, maybe you start to feel that twinge of connection, right? Like where, because for me, you say boulders off your shoulders. I'm like, I see it as like the elephant that's been sitting on my chest. I thought for a few years, but really for a long time, right? For
Oh, you did.
maybe even more most of my life. But this elephant finally went decided to stir and start to stand up, right? And so I could breathe again. And yeah, it was like once I said, okay, I'm going to need the help of a power greater than me, then all of a sudden that power greater than me went like, okay, cool. Thanks for inviting me to the party. Here I am, and all of a sudden, I felt like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you are,
Mhm.
And there you were.
Yeah.
Or there the whole time, right? And I just didn't want to turn to it, so.
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive because we always want to control everything, but
Sure.
it's such a relief to just say, I'm not in control and give up the reins, and the car is just going to drive itself. Well, not itself, God's going to drive the car, and you just get to sit there and read a book, or figuratively, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just get to sit there and do the things that, people in life do instead of trying to control the wind and the ocean not that we do that, but that's what we think we can do. We think we can do that and we can't. And then we fight against the ocean.
Yeah, and
that's impossible.
And then sometimes we have to do this. Things that we have to do that were on our shoulders also.
Yeah.
Are gone because we don't really have to do
that. No, that's what I keep trying to tell my sponsees. I'm like, you don't have to be in the middle of everybody else's problems.
Yeah, it's hard to teach people that, isn't
it? Because they jump in the middle, and I'm like, you do not have to do that. You can have your own problems, and some people you can help people. Yes, you don't have to answer the phone every single time.
Yeah,
you can answer the phone sometimes, but sometimes people can help themselves and answer their own problems.
Yeah.
You don't have to be their only solution for every single problem that they have.
Yeah, they can clean their own house.
Exactly. Yeah. Because then you have all of their problems on your shoulders too, and that's not really fair to you.
Not fair to the other people either.
No, because you're basically a crutch for them.
Yep.
And that's what I said. And then there was the realization of oh yeah, it's like if you teach your kids to do the dishes, then they'll do the dishes. If you always do the dishes for them, they're never going to learn. It was kind of like an aha moment like that,
Yeah.
And so it's just, that's a little off topic, but it's still,
That's right there.
It's just, you don't have to, like I said, earlier, I was sitting here not worrying about this other thing here, or this other person over here, or this other thing over here, because I have talked to God about it already. I've already told him what my worries are. I've already asked him for help with those. I've already said, help this person with this, or put the protection over this person, or give this person grace. So that's gone already. I've already done that today. So I don't have to worry about it because I already gave it to that. I gave it to him. I already told him what I needed from him, or how to help these people. So why do I have to sit and worry about it? I already did it. I did it first thing this morning, or maybe even throughout the day because I thought of it later.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here without the worry about those people because I already did it.
Yeah.
And he's got it. I don't have to worry because I'm not in control of that.
And if you
Gave it to him. It's his job now.
And if you want to send any more love or grace to them, it all during the day, boom, you can do that.
Just do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once I've done that, then it's in his hands, or the entire power, her, whatever, their hands.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try to control it because I can't control it. There's no way I'm going to go to my friend's house and control her life. Even if I give her a phone call, I'm not going to control her life. It's just not a thing that we can do.
Yeah.
You can't control other people, and you can't control, it's just not a thing. So.
Well, turning over the wheel comes in the next episode.
I dated a gal for just a
Oh,
little.
did I rant too now?
A little bit.
Sorry.
Okay, I love it. Well, we always have the last couple questions that we like to hit. And so in the spirit of progress, not perfection, do you have something that you've been working on lately?
Oh.
I can chime in.
You were on all sorts of stuff.
So for me, this is kind of like, so this is a progress, not perfection thing, right? So something that has come up for me again since I started school again is working on my listening skills to be more focused on how I'm listening. And so something that, I was a little more cognizant of before that maybe I've, lost a little bit of focus there. So that's something that I want to get a little refreshed on and get a little better at my active listening with people. Yeah.
I think I haven't really started to focus on it, but I need to again. After the holidays, I hadn't started really focusing on what I'm eating again, as far as like eating healthier. And we kind of are, but then I also need to watch my portion control too. So I think that's what I'd like to start working towards again, because I was doing that before the holidays, and the holidays, just, the holidays. But yeah, I think I want to start doing that again to just, pay attention and make sure I'm looking and not just mindless eating.
Sure.
Cool. And wow, what am I working on? Outside of 12-step programs too, there are also individual therapists, which are always. I'm sorry, I love seeing therapists now. I just got a new one, and he just kicks butt. And just seen him for the past couple weeks, and so that's what I've been working on. He recognized something in me that's been bugging me for years, and it just like really hit a note that I don't know why no one else had seen it, but it's really good. So that's what I've been working on right now. It's kind of personal, it's a thing to say, but I'm getting a chance to work on that and notice it. And it's taken, there's another little boulder up here that I didn't know about, and it's kind of wiggling that one off right now, and it feels pretty good. So yeah, so don't worry about going to see a therapist if you want a little bit more freedom in your life. With 12 steps, there's other stuff that's bothering you. Used to be going to a therapist is kind of, when you're doing that, nah. And I'd love seeing a therapist, and there'll be another person in your life that'll help you get it back into control too. So
yeah, we've come into a time where the stigma of therapy has been removed, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man.
It better be removed because it is a beautiful thing.
Working on yourself is very important.
Yeah.
12 steps is part of that, but seeking outside help beyond 12 steps or your recovery program is a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It made me a better person, helping me become a better person.
Absolutely. So, and then, are there any big gifts that you've been given recently by recovery? I know I have one that happened to kind of us over the holidays, and that is that we got to spend a lot of like really great quality time with our little niece of 6 years old, and we really got to experience like a next level connection with her. She lives a long way away from us, like 7 hours away from us or something like that. But we really got to experience like a next level connection with her that felt really special and made us feel both a lot closer to her. I mean, we have a good relationship with her now, but just really blossomed into, that much more of a closeness that I really enjoyed getting to have. And I certainly think that some of that, if not all of it, is because of where I've come in my life today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great story. I loved hearing that when you guys got back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine, at least the most recently, is just seeing the higher power working in my sponsees' lives. It's just really beautiful, and
fun.
it's just boosted my spiritual experience too. You know what I mean? It's just like I said, that's why I brought that up today. It's just the spiritual high from it is just like my heart's just like floating. That's how it feels. It's just amazing, and I love it. And it's just it's to see the light go on and have it be me get to be a part of that is just above all.
See the miracles happen.
Yeah, and have me be part of the miracle. I've seen the light come on, but it hasn't been me who's done it or helped do it.
Mhm.
And it's really, over the top awesome.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, one thing I always say, and I did with anyone who's addicted and just trying to stay sober or straight, and each day, you can do it and stay sober that day. That's a miracle, and each day you can stay sober. It's another miracle, and I get to look at my friends here and they're a miracle. Each of us that can stay sober, not a lot of us can do it. There's not that many of us who get to come out of the other end of it. We're all miracles. And so we just keep looking at it this way, man. You're all miracles and you're all beautiful. You make it out of the addiction and can enjoy your life. It's a miracle. So I'm going to end it that way with myself.
Cool. I like it.
Cool.
If you have any questions about today's show or anything else recovery related, please feel free to reach out in our comments section, Facebook, Instagram, or email the Riches. You can find all of that information in the episode description. We will release episodes on the 1st and 15th of each month. Sorry we missed you last month. And we look forward to having you join us for future content. Thank you, Abby and Rich, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being part of my sobriety today.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. We really hope you got something out of today's episode. We would be honored if you would like and share the episode or leave a review or comment with your takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe to tune into future episodes. Have a great day.